There are moments in life that arrive quietly, without warning, without meaning to change anything, yet somehow they do. They slip into your world like a breath of wind, and before you know it, everything steady begins to tremble. You think you've built something certain, something unshakable, until the smallest crack reminds you how fragile it all really was. My name is Sarah. I'm a wife, a mother, and a woman who's learned that love and loss often live in the same house. But nothing, absolutely nothing, prepared me for what happened with Henry, my stepson. When I married his father, I braced myself for the ordinary challenges of a blended family. Awkward dinners, mismatched moods, the careful dance of learning when to speak and when to stay silent. But Henry wasn't difficult. He was gentle, polite, the kind of young man who noticed the details most people missed. Too observant, sometimes. And behind those quiet eyes, I began to sense a weight, a sadness that didn't belong to someone his age. He'd already lost more than most men ever do, yet he never spoke about it. At least, not until that night. Lately, something in him had changed. The stillness he carried had turned heavy, as if every breath cost him something. His glances lingered, not out of confusion, but as though he was searching for words he didn't know how to say. I thought it was grief, distance, the natural fading between two people who shared the same loss. But I was wrong. It was darker than that. One evening, when his father was away on business, the house fell into an unsettling kind of quiet, the kind that hums with tension, like the air before a storm. I was reading in the armchair. Henry sat across from me, flicking through television channels he wasn't really watching, his movements restless, unfocused. Then he said my name, softly, almost trembling. Sarah, I need to tell you something, but I don't know how. Something in his voice made my stomach twist. I set the book aside, my pulse already beginning to race. He stared at the floor, words caught somewhere between his throat and his heart. You've always been kind to me, he said quietly. You've always cared, but I haven't been honest about that night, the accident. That word, accident, hung in the air like a blade. For months, we'd avoided it. We'd built a fragile peace around silence, afraid that speaking it aloud might shatter what little we had left. I could see it then, the shimmer of tears in his eyes, the way his hands trembled in his lap. It wasn't just an accident, he said. I should have told you sooner. I didn't mean for it to happen. I swear I didn't. The room seemed to shrink around us. My heart pounded so hard, it drowned out the sound of my own breathing. What are you saying, Henry? I whispered. His voice broke. It was my fault. The brakes. I'd been fixing them that week. I thought I'd repaired them. I didn't. I killed him. The world tilted. The walls, the furniture, the air, all of it spun around the single truth hanging between us. In that moment, memory struck like a wave. The phone call, the sirens, the way his father's voice cracked when he said the words I still hear at night. No, I said, but it came out more like a breath than a word. You didn't mean to. He shook his head, tears finally spilling. Intentions don't matter. He's gone because of me. And suddenly, everything made sense. The sleepless nights, the hollow stare, the way he'd avoided his father's old study like it was sacred ground. All those unspoken apologies in his eyes, I finally understood them. I wanted to reach for him, to forgive him. But I couldn't, because forgiveness, once tainted by truth, doesn't come easy. It comes slow, if it comes at all. For a long time, we sat there in silence, the kind that feels alive, like it's listening. Finally, I said. You were trying to help, Henry. You didn't know. He looked at me then, eyes red and raw. That doesn't change what I did. Since that night, everything between us has been different. We eat together, we talk, we pretend. We wear normalcy like a mask, hoping no one sees the fracture beneath it. But the shadow never leaves. It lingers in every quiet glance, every unfinished sentence. Some truths don't fade, they echo. And in their echo, they trap you. I still see it in his eyes, the quiet plea for forgiveness I can't give. And in mine, he probably sees the forgiveness he doesn't deserve. We're both prisoners of the same moment, caught between love and blame, guilt and grief. Because some lines, once crossed, never fade. And sometimes the hardest part of love isn't holding on. It's learning how to live with what's left when forgiveness is no longer possible.